President,
Senator from Hawaii.
I come to the floor today to mark a milestone in the fight for gender equity in America. 44 years ago, a committed group of people fought and made huge strides in the battle for equal opportunities for women in education. They passed Title IX. Many people across the country think the sole purpose of Title IX was to revolutionize women's athletics, but Title IX does so much more. Title IX provided a world of new opportunities for women who for too long faced discrimination, disparagement, and quotas in our education system. And we owe so much of the progress that we've made in the past 44 years since the passage of Title IX to my good friend, Congresswoman Patsy T. Mink. Patsy was a woman perennially ahead of her time. Gender discrimination in our education system was not an abstract issue for Patsy. She felt the weight of it personally. Patsy dreamed of becoming a doctor, but her dream of becoming a doctor was shattered when she tried to get into medical school and was told that their quota for women had already been filled. Years later, a quota prevented her daughter Wendy from enrolling at Stanford University. These experiences fueled Patsy's fight for gender equity. And even in the face of overwhelming odds along the way, Patsy's determination resulted in the passage of Title IX. And upon Patsy's death, Title IX was renamed the Patsy T. Mink Equal Opportunity in Education Act. The fruits of Patsy's efforts are plain for everyone to see. Last year, we came together as a nation to cheer on the U.S. women's national soccer team as they won the Women's World Cup. This was the women's third world title. In fact, in their 31-year history, they have not placed lower than third in the World Cup. Much of the team's success can be attributed to the impact of Title IX. Title IX's implementation meant that schools had to give girls equal opportunity to play sports. And this opened the door to a new generation of girls who grew up on soccer fields and went on to represent our country in the U.S. women's national team, including Hawaii's own Natasha Kai, who became a breakout soccer star playing for Kahuku High School and the University of Hawaii. Natasha went on to become part of the 2008 U.S. women's soccer team at the Beijing Olympics, and they brought home a gold medal. While Natasha and the women's national team are examples of the success thanks to Title IX, they also remind us that our work is not done. After years of getting paid less than their male counterparts, even though they were more successful, 5 members of the women's national team filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission alleging wage discrimination. Earlier this year, this Senate unanimously passed a resolution supporting their fight for equal pay. Of course, the fight for equal pay and equal rights is not limited to women in sports. It extends to women in all fields. This month, I am introducing 2 new bills that build on Patsy's work to further improve gender equity. The Equity in Career and Technical Education Act will give schools more resources to close equity gaps in career and technical education. It also provides support to students interested in non-traditional career paths. The second bill, the Gender Equity Educational Act, would increase training and grants to help states, school districts, and institutions of higher learning implement programs and policies to reduce sex discrimination and comply with Title IX requirements. This bill includes non-discrimination also on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. Science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM, is one area where gender equity improvements need to be made, especially in light of the fact that there will be a need in our country for millions of workers with STEM backgrounds. In March, I read an op-ed from Hope Jaron, a geobiology professor at the University of Hawaii. She wrote in the New York Times about the pervasive challenges women faced in education and the workplace, particularly in the STEM fields. She painted a very disturbing picture of how widespread harassment and other barriers discourage young women from pursuing STEM careers. Women are much more likely than men to switch out of STEM majors in college and leave the STEM workforce. Moreover, many girls drop out of STEM pursuits long before they ever get to college. The many reasons for women abandoning STEM pursuits include negative stereotypes about women in STEM, perceived gender barriers, feelings of isolation in their jobs, and a lack of role models and mentors. These challenges are only compounded for women of color. Asian American and Pacific Islander women often report facing bullying, sexual harassment, and discrimination in educational settings because of language issues, cultural stereotypes, and even immigration status. I have introduced 2 bills to combat these systemic barriers. These bills seek to improve outreach and success of women and minorities at all stages of the STEM pursuits. We need to keep women in the STEM pipeline if we are going to come up with the millions of workers we need with STEM backgrounds in our country to keep us competitive. Title IX has been life-changing for millions of girls and women for 44 years. Passing this law was a landmark achievement. It's a strong foundation that we must continue to build upon.